Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for the week of September 1st. You have this authority and diplomacy card, and the serpent, it says a slight and subtle approach is necessary. And so, both of those cards kind of represent the same thing, they both kind of go hand in hand, And authority, being diplomatic, and also, a sly, subtle approach. So it might just be a good week for you to be diplomatic, right? And to approach things slowly and thoughtfully. I don't think this is bad at all. I think most people would think serpent, that's a bad thing, but not really. I think that this is just saying, take your time in whatever it is that you're doing, and, approach things with, kind of thought out first and then move forward, right? And I think that's all you really have to do here, Taurus. You have the Five of Cups, the Seven of Cups, and the Six of Pentacles. I do feel like this first row is kind of like asking you to make a move. If you look at how those cards are set up, it's like the Five of Cups is kind of like grieving something. He's grieving the loss of his taste for wine, is the story of the card. So he has lost his taste for something that he once enjoyed, and now he needs to turn around and be grateful for what he has here. And so some of you, it's like time to be grateful for what you have. Seven of Cups is like dreaming of better things in life, and then Six of Pentacles is planting seeds in a new direction. So I do feel it's time to turn around. He has to let go of whatever he's lost or whatever has disappointed him, and he has to see these, when he does that, and when he's grateful for what he has, which is these two cups, he gets this bridge and this castle. So, it's like there's something better coming in for you. It's really funny that you end with the Tower. You're the second person and I've only done almost half the readings. I think I've only done 5 so far. And like I said, so it's kind of weird to have multiple people have the Tower in the good stuff. That last row is going to be the good stuff. And so that could be you avoiding a Tower moment. It could be, but with the Five of Cups, it could be you kind of like seeing through, not necessarily seeing through an illusion, but the Tower is like escaping the Matrix. The Tower is, those people have been ignoring reality, and now the universe is forcing them into reality, or to see reality. But coming up in the good stuff, it could say that you're avoiding that. You're avoiding the universe needing to show you what's up, right? It's like, that's the thing about the Tower. I think the Tower gets a bad rap, but really, the Tower is really just basically when we refuse to see something that is the truth anyway, and then the universe has to show us, in some ways. And, but, when it comes up in the good stuff, it basically says you're avoiding that. So, again, I kind of feel like you could be seeing a truth is what I'm trying to say here, or, you could be kind of like accepting a reality this week. You have the Seven of Cups. It's like, I feel like you need better examples. Again, I'm not calling you out or anything, but I feel it would be a good week for you to like look for good examples in life. Like sometimes I think we need that for inspiration purposes. So it's like, let's say you want love, but let's say you have a bad taste in your mouth when it comes to love. This could say, well, there are plenty of examples of people who have had successful relationships, so go focus on that. Same thing with money or anything else you're doing. It's like, I feel like you need to search for good examples, because I think it would give you the inspiration you need to be very successful. It is a successful reading. I mean, Queen of Pentacles, Six of Wands, Chariot, you have very good cards here without even clarifying. And so I think finding examples would be a good idea. Even in your next row, you have this card. It says Infinite Possibilities. It says you're on the right path. Favorable energies are guiding you at this time. So Seven of Cups is a card of possibilities, and it's a card of being spoiled for choice. So I think you are increasing your options right now. You have the Six of Pentacles. Again, Six of Pentacles is planting seeds in a direction. He's giving to this person, not this person. And so he is kind of like investing his energy into his future or into something that gives back to him. And I would definitely make sure to do that. In your next row, at the top of your next row, you have the Three of Pentacles. And Three of Pentacles is a card of teamwork. But sometimes when I have a reading that goes from Six of Pentacles to Three of Pentacles, it's basically saying, like, you need to make sure that, any relationships that you're investing in, not just love, everything, that you are getting a return. And what's really interesting, Taurus, is now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure we've been talking about, like, self-care, self-love, nurturing energy with you for, like, the past couple months. And, that's a big part of self-care. is making sure that you are, when you really love yourself, then obviously you're not going to be in any type of relationship that is cheating you out of something or is not giving equally, at least, if not better, right? And so again, it's like I kind of feel like this has to that goes along with the whole self-love thing. With the Five of Cups, you have the Four of Swords. Four of Swords, resting, relaxing, recovering, and healing. It is an amazing time for healing, of course. I said this in all the September readings because I think it's just a good time. Really right now is probably the best time ever to take control of your health. So, if there's anything you want to do, and it could be any type of health, and, so whatever. The other thing is he's hoping and praying for a blessing. And you have the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is the same thing. Not necessarily the same thing, but it's very similar. He's kind of like thinking or imagining a blessing that he wants. Now, the Seven of Cups can kind of be both good and bad at the same time because he can see the blessing. It's right there in front of him, but there are some good things and bad things in these cups. So, the trick with the Seven of Cups is we have to find out. We can't just imagine a blessing. We have to do things to bring it down to earth, right? Yeah, with the Seven of Cups, you have the Three of Pentacles. Teamwork makes the dream work. So, anything you can do to work together with other people would be a good idea. This also kind of tells me, Taurus, that it would be a good time to get the help of others. Especially if you have a dream. The Three of Pentacles kind of says you can be the leader, but, maybe you need people who support you. And this doesn't even mean like you have to hire employees if you have a business or anything like that. It just means, maybe there are people just in your life in general that really want to support your vision, right? These people here are supporting his vision right here. And that's popping into my head as important for you, Taurus. Like, I think it would be extra important right now for you to surround yourself with more of those people that like really support your vision. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Three of Swords. Yes, I mean, like, I think you need to heal. I think you need to do everything we said. I think you need to avoid people that don't give to you equally, if not better. All that other good stuff, right? Three of Swords is about forgiveness. We have to remove those swords from our heart and forgive the past so that we can move forward. So I do think it would be a good time to like forgive yourself, forgive people in your life, let go of stuff from the past, all that other good stuff here. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this helping hand card. It says the universe is helping you find something you need that will lead to your next step. You have this yes, you have this infinite possibilities. It says you're on the right path. Favorable energies are guiding you at this time. Yeah, I really feel there are a lot, like, it's like you're opening up to potential, or there is a lot of potential. There is more potential coming in for you. And I really feel the universe is kind of like on your side. It's almost like the universe has your back right now, Taurus. And that's kind of what I feel. You have the Three of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles. So teamwork makes the dream work, of course. As always with you, Taurus, you get these cards with the polka dots. And this card, or the Seven of Swords, have polka dots on them, or the people on them have polka dots. Polka dots in the tarot represent taking things too seriously and needing to be more playful. So I do think it would be a great time for you to be more playful, joyful, have more fun in life, do more things to have fun in life. So that's definitely popping into my head. If you're working on a project, it's like one of those things where the polka dots in the tarot represent needing to not take things too seriously. They basically represent needing to have more fun. And needing to look at, like, needing to practice non-attachment to outcome. So again, if you are working on any projects, just allowing it to work is what that's saying. You have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands says you're very attractive at this time. So if you want love, Taurus, I would get out there, right? It is the card of seduction. It's also a great card for being bold, being assertive, really going for what you want. So, she needs to do all of those things I just said. And I think it would be a great time for you to do those things that I just said. It would be a great time for you to be bold, assertive, confident. She also has this sunflower right here, and the sunflower points towards the sun. So she moves towards her joy, peace, happiness, all those good feelings. And that's what I would do with the Queen of Wands, is like follow the good feelings, especially with that Three of Pentacles. It also could, with the Three of Pentacles, twice in your reading, Three of Pentacles is about putting your work on display. It is a card of showing off. He is showing his work right here. So I think with this card as well, I think it might be a good time for you to like show off. You have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is a card of resourcefulness. Queen of Pentacles is a card of tapping into your resources or using your resources for success. And so she might not have, the money to do something that she wants to do, but she might have another resource like time, effort, attention, people, places, things, whatever, that could make her very successful. I would also like focus on multiplication here. I don't always say this, but there's this rabbit right here. The rabbit can represent fertility and abundance. It can represent fears and anxiety. But rabbits also multiply very, very quickly. And so sometimes I think the Queen of Pentacles is about focusing on things in your life that multiply, right? And so, that could be like your activities. That could be skills that you have. That could be things that you want to do, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But just doing more of the stuff in life that causes multiplication, right? And it's like we all have certain skills. There are things we can do with our health and, pretty much everything that will give us more than we put into it. And that's really what's popping into my head with this card. And, normally I would say this with like the Eight of Pentacles. Like if we had like, especially the Eight of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands, for example, in a reading, to me, that is more of that type of energy. Or like the Wheel of Fortune as well is a card of like doubling down on what's working. But I think that is going to be an important thing for you to focus on this week, Taurus. With the Three of Pentacles, you have the Temperance card. Yeah, Temperance is kind of like alchemy, turning one thing into another. He is trying to turn water into wine. It's a card of patience. But I also do feel like there could be a person who could help you speed things up. Like whatever you're working on, whatever you're trying to create. It's like things could be faster if you allow it. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that no longer serve you. So I think it would be a great time for you to walk away from things that no longer serve you here, Taurus, for sure. And again, this has to do with like self-love. Like I said, like nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself. It's like if you do things that you hate, then you're not, loving yourself, right? So I think this is saying that you need to do things that, it's like you need to do things that prove to you that you love yourself or something is what's popping into my head there. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Strength card. You have the Strength card twice here. The Strength card would be about controlling your inner voice. She has her hands in this lion's mouth. And that lion kind of represents her inner voice, her inner critic, her inner demons, things like that. But she's the one that's in control. And so maybe what you need to double down on is like controlling your inner voice. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Love card and this Slow It Down card. Yes, again, I mean, you have the King of Cups with the Chariot right next to it. So, this could say that you are getting into a connection and, yeah, maybe you want it to move quickly, but, it kind of like says take your time with this energy. The other interesting thing is that we have Neptune will be retrograding back into Pisces soon. And, Saturn moves back into Pisces on like the 1st of September, literally the day this week starts. And then Neptune will follow after. But, again, the weird thing about Neptune and Pisces is that it can kind of go both ways for love because we can get caught up in the fantasy or the illusion of the connection, with Neptune and Pisces. And, this can be good and bad. It can be one of those things where it's like I've been telling people for years, literally since I started my channel, basically that with Neptune and Pisces, we should be careful of like long distance relationships, for example, because it's like the fantasy is too attractive and it, long distance is already a fantasy in the first place, right? But it never becomes a reality with Neptune and Pisces. So we have to be careful of that. But the other thing we have to be careful of is like rushing things. But at the same time, if it's going to work, it's going to work. So, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But, this could be something that where you want to move it. It wants to move quickly. And, I think that's fine, but also enjoy it at the same time, right? You have the King of Cups, the Strength card, and the Six of Wands. King of Cups, you could be attracting a King of Cups type person into your life. Could be someone who's very connected to their emotions. Now, one thing I will say is that pretty much everyone gets the King of Cups all the time for love now. I think that the King of Cups is just an attractive archetype right now because the King of Cups is, it's like the time. This could just be an archetype, is what I'm trying to spit out. It doesn't have to be a water sign that you're attracting. King of Cups is just a person who has a good handle on their emotions. Obviously, I think that we're in a time of chaos until 2033. Really, the peak is like 2028, basically. But it kind of will get better after that. That doesn't mean things are going to be bad between now and then, by the way. But what I would say is, like, during this time, a person who has a good head on their shoulders probably is going to be more attractive, right? So it just is what it is. You have the Strength card. Strength is a card of patience, of course. You could be attracting a person with a lot of strength, like I just said. I also kind of feel like it would be good to, like, multiply your strength here, Taurus. It's like I would be doing things that make you feel stronger. It's like we all have different things that we do that I think can make us feel stronger, make us feel better. We all probably have different things that can nurture ourselves, like I said, or we have things that can help us build our inner strength, like the words that we say about ourselves and things like that. So I would be working on all of those energies or all of those things, because whenever this shows up in a reading, it's like I don't say this stuff just because I want to hear myself talk. I say this stuff because tarot to me is like energy that you can work with or not. So if clearly this reading wants you to work with this energy because it's coming up twice, and so if you work with it, you're gonna get the benefits, right? And so I would pick something and do it. You have the Six of Wands. Six of Wands, a card of success, victories, achievements, really good card. So there could be a victory coming in for you here, or a big win if you want it. And yeah, I feel pretty good about this Six of Wands. I feel like you could be making a lot of progress here as well with the Six of Wands. So I do like to see that. With the Three of Pentacles also showing up twice and the Strength card twice, both of these cards are cards of displaying something. Three of Pentacles, he's putting his work on display. Strength, she is displaying her strength, right? And so it might be a good time for you with that Six of Wands to receive recognition, as in, like, you need to put something on display so that people can recognize you for the good job that you do. And that's what I would be doing there, Taurus. With the King of Cups, you have the Five of Cups. I don't know, I would let go of any worry, like past regrets and things like that, especially if you want love. This to me is, it's kind of like he's looking at all the times love didn't work, and there's two cups behind him, So I'm not telling you what to do or anything like that, Taurus, but if you kind of think that you might want love, right? I'm not talking to you, those of you that don't want it. But what I am talking to is the people that maybe kind of do want it or definitely want it. I feel like this is saying you need to let go of your old love story so that you can create a new one. Yeah, with the Strength card, you have the Ten of Wands. But here's the thing. The Ten of Wands requires strength. But, I kind of feel like this is saying don't waste your efforts on things that are not working. The Ten of Wands, I personally always say, is a good card. He's about to reach his home in the background. He's about to receive, the results for the work that he's done. But some of those wands might not be producing a result. So I do think it would be a good week for you to, like, look at the work you're doing and see what's important, see what's not important, and get rid of the excess, or get rid of the things that you definitely don't need to do, right? With the Ten of Wands. With the Six of Wands, you have the Two of Wands. Two of Wands about taking the lead on something. So I do feel it would be a good week for you to take the lead at this time. I think it would be a good week for you to get out into the world with the Two of Wands as well. But also, again, with that Six of Wands, it's like the Two of Wands, he needs to maybe put something that he's been working on display in the world. So I kind of feel that for you, Taurus, where it's like you have to do something. You have to, like, put something out into the world. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Relax card, and I love when people tell me to relax, right? And you have this Impulse card, but, it is coming up in the good stuff. So, maybe you're getting an opportunity to relax this week, or, go on vacation, or maybe a staycation or something like that. I do think it would be a good time for that. You have the Chariot, the Tower, and the Lovers. I feel like some of you are moving. Maybe not like this second, but, Chariot and the Tower can absolutely be a move. The Tower, I think that's something people forget about the Tower, is that the Tower can just be a move. So, but again, it's coming up in the good stuff anyway. But I think that some of you could be moving or planning a move. It feels more to me like you're planning a move. Like I said, maybe you're not moving like this second, but you probably will be obviously in the future. The Chariot's also like a big victory. Chariot's all about setting yourself apart, and so yeah. I also I'm not trying to be dramatic here either, Taurus, but I feel like saying the best is yet to come. So, again, I'm not saying like things are going to be perfect, but I don't know. I think that some of you might be thinking that your, past years have been more successful, or, maybe you feel like you've missed out on some sort of success. But, again, I think really there's so much good stuff to come. And I don't know. It's almost like I feel like the universe is trying to give you hope. So I don't know. Hopefully that's helpful. You have the Tower. Again, the Tower can just be a move. I really feel that some of you are kind of like avoiding a Tower moment because you probably don't need it. It's like I said, sometimes I think the universe is just like, if we wake up, or if we accept things for how they are, if we see the truth of the matter, or see what's going on in the world, then we can avoid a Tower moment. And so some of you could be just avoiding a Tower moment. I also feel that you could be having surprise love, which I've been saying this to you for months. I'm telling you right now, Taurus, if there is love, if you want it, and there is love coming in for you, it very much could be a surprise. Like, it could be something that kind of like comes out of nowhere, or, it's like you're just not expecting it or something. So I don't know. That's been popping into my head for you for a long time. But the Lovers is like a perfect match. So there definitely could be some sort of perfect match coming in for you with this card, and I think it'll make you very happy. So that looks good there, Taurus. Let's see. With the Chariot, you have the Seven of Cups again. So this is like, you have a bunch of repeating cards in this reading. Whenever we have a bunch of repeating cards in a reading, it's basically the universe saying I meant what I said. So, you could be getting a lot of attention, standing out. Seven of Cups could be, with the Chariot, could be you charging forward towards a dream, which I think would be good for you as well. With the Tower, yes, you have the Knight of Wands moving randomly. I wonder if some of you are going to move randomly. Like, maybe you don't think you're going to move right now, but there could be like something that pops up in the near future, is what I would say to you here, Taurus. And it kind of makes a lot of sense. Like, even where I live, it's like, where I live, I rented a house because I didn't want to buy one, obviously, right now. And what's crazy is there are houses that are even bigger than the house that I live in right now that are like cheaper. It's like rent is going down. And it's like, I don't really want to move, but at the same time, I'm like, I could get something even better for like less money, So I don't know. I think there's a lot of, it could be one of those things, Taurus, where it's like maybe you find a better opportunity. And I'm not saying this is going to happen today, but I think this could happen over maybe the next year or so. And, again, maybe right now you're thinking I'm not going to move, but maybe you are in the future. You never know. With the Lovers, you have the King of Swords. King of Swords is a card of knowledge and wisdom. You could be attracting a person who's older than you with the King of Swords, which I'm pretty sure has been coming up for you, Taurus. So that seems to be like a little bit of a theme. Also would be a person who has a lot of knowledge and wisdom. So, could be like a smart person that you're attracting. You have this hat card that says you will be playing a different role. The leader is the role that you are going to be playing, Taurus. 6 of Wands, 2 of Wands, 3 of Pentacles twice. I mean, it's pretty obvious to me that a lot of you could be taking the lead, especially in work or business. But, again, take it how it resonates. You could be taking the lead in your personal life, something that you're working on or creating. All that would be good for you. You have this June card and this boot. It says, increase your efforts if you want to achieve your goals. Yes, definitely between now and June. I would say that next year really changes around March, right? So, like, between now and March is what I would say is, like, where you should be, like, when you should be increasing your efforts. This reading was talking about multiplication. So you should be increasing your efforts on the things that multiply, right? It's like, again, just to give you an example, if I were to get this reading, I would do more videos, right? Because obviously that's where I get the best results in my life. But, one area, right? And so that's what this reading is saying. It's like saying you need to understand, like, where do you get the best results? Increase your efforts on those things. And that's what I would do here. You have this jug. It says lighthearted, carefree time. We talked about the polka dots on the Three of Pentacles. Really, I think we're in a time where the universe is trying to get us to not take things too seriously. So, yeah, I would have more fun, enjoy yourself more. You have this rooster. It says, an arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. Everybody has had a card like this. There is something about the month of September. Really, I'm not sure, but like what it is necessarily, but there's something about it that is just like, no road rage, no arguments in the home. It's almost like a Mars retrograde. When we have Mars retrograde, that we should avoid all those things, right? Same thing right now. I would avoid all that. You have this mice card. It says discord among family or friends. So again, no arguments in the home, no creating arguments either. Just let things go at this time. But this looks pretty good, Taurus. I do like it. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.